Welcome into the Daily Dynasty Show. My name is Spencer Smith, and today I am joined by none other than the Benjamin Murray. Ben, what's up, man?
Hey, man, how you doing?
Hey, doing good. I'm so happy that you're here. Today is a special episode. We're doing Doom and Gloom Prediction Zone. We're going to be doing a top 5 shows draft. You don't want to miss a thing. Let's go. Alrighty, everybody. So I do just want to give a quick update before we get into the episode. This week has been crazy. I've switched everything over to a new software, and I've been kind of learning as I go. So that's why there's only been 2 episodes this week, and the next week there might only be 2 as well as I'm going on vacation. But I couldn't be more excited to have a Daily Dynasty Show original member on the episode today. Ben, one of my best friends, if not my best friend, and I'm so happy that he's here. Ben, what's going on, man? It's so good that you're here.
Man, it feels good to finally be here. You know, this has been a long time coming. It's been reminiscent of the early Instagram days and TikTok days, and so feels good to finally make an appearance here.
Man, I can't believe that we're finally doing this. It has been, of all technical issues that could possibly go wrong, waiting to get this episode going. Everything possible has gone wrong, but we are here now. And let's just go ahead and kick things off, man, with a Thursday Night Football review. You had your Pittsburgh Steelers going up against the Cincinnati Bengals. The Steelers, they lose 31-33, but man, what a game. I mean, what was your takeaway watching this game?
Yeah, I mean, it was the Unk Bowl, you know, as tried and true, seeing one great. Probably the last time they play the Bengals again here in a couple of weeks, but remain to be seen if Flacco was going to be starting then. But after the game that he had last night, great. I mean, it was painful to watch, but it was great seeing Flacco actually do what a quarterback should do to their receiver, and that is to target your top guy. Holy crap. I mean, our defense was terrible last night. Our offense is kind of I have a lot of notes. You know, the Bengals, with how terrible their defense was, they still set up a 30-point game, which they've given up the most 30-point games so far in every single game they've played, or at least averaging 30 points. But for whatever reason, Rodgers with the 2 interceptions, Flacco over 300 yards, 3 tutties, Jamar Chase 23 targets.
Crazy.
For a buck. For a $161 and a touchdown. So a lot of takeaways. The Cincinnati Bengals got a good win. Steelers, it was a trap game, and it was Joe Flacco. So as Joe Flacco's been our kryptonite, really, honestly, it sucks. We're expecting a blowout win for us because of the Bengals defense, but they stepped up when it mattered most, and unfortunately our secondary and our offense, with a lack of a second receiver, that is, really hurt us. So a lot of different takeaways, but yeah, that's the foremost.
Well, we'll get into the other receiver issue with the Steelers, but I did want to point out, let's start with the Steelers side here specifically. DK Metcalf got off to an early, incredible start in that first drive. He got that big catch, and then it seemed like the rest of the game was just, he literally only had a couple more catches after that. It seemed like he was about to have a big day. 3 of 5 for 50 yards, and you kind of brought it up there for a second, the lack thereof of another receiver. As a Steelers fan, and then we'll get to the Bengals side here in a second, but as a Steelers fan, what would you like to see happen with this franchise before the trade deadline? I mean, we're seeing the rumors that the Steelers could be looking to add another receiver. Do you have a receiver in your mind you're hoping that they go after, or is this more of like, yeah, I would just take literally anybody else beside DK Metcalf, other than Roman Wilson?
Yeah, I mean, I think the easy answer is, obviously, we have to get a receiver at the trade deadline. I mean, that's a strong wide receiver too, and I've been hearing some rumors, some reports even before the season started, and I like this guy, Chris Olave. I know he's had his own injury problems with the concussions, and he's really the Tua of receivers when it comes to concussions. So I expect the Saints are in a slightly rebuild mode. Chris Olave is still the number 1 guy, but they have Shaheed there, so they could, and with the pick that we got from George Pickens, I think Olave. I mean, he's been brought up in trade rumors, before. So I think going after Olave to be that strong receiver too, because as much as I like Calvin Austin, he was out with an injury last night, but he's better suited as a wide receiver three. And Roman Wilson, I was expecting him. I thought the Steelers were going to hit on the receiver in the draft like we usually do, but he's been a non-factor, and this was the game to kind of improve his standing with the Steelers. But I think just the foremost, we need a second receiver because our run game is great with Jalen Warren and Kenneth Gainwell and Metcalf. Yeah, I mean, 3 for 50, like on 5 targets. They're just double teaming him, if anything, or really you can just put one guy on him because Metcalf seems to kind of be not out of his prime because he's still a good receiver, top 20. But with Rodgers, with how it's kind of like a 1 year deal, like a 1 year situation. I feel like it's mainly needed that we need a receiver. And personally speaking, I would love Olave, even though I've heard reports of there's other guys like you can maybe get a Lazard or I mean you can get one of these other
Guys that have
wide
played
receiver.
with, Rodgers before, possibly.
Yeah, and so maybe you want to try to unlock that, or maybe even if the Jets, if the Jets want to, I mean, they're sitting winless right now. Wilson is unexcited. Hey, you could send them, you could send Garrett Wilson to the Steelers and have Wilson and Metcalf, but it really irks me that we didn't see the George Pickens and Metcalf duo, and now we're kind of paying for it. So,
Yeah.
yeah, a lot of work to be done, but I think Olave, we need a receiver by the deadline. If we don't get a receiver by the deadline, then unfortunately, I don't see us going far into the playoffs or even win a playoff game. I'm the optimist, so I think we could, but realistically, no.
Yeah, well, here's the thing about Rodgers is like before the season started, it was all doom and gloom, which we'll get to that section here in a minute, but it was really doom and gloom when he came over there of like, okay, this is what the Steelers, this is what we're doing is getting Rodgers. But I remember before the season started, I believe I told you, and I know I told other people that I could see them being a playoff team. Now, how deep, obviously, with George Pickens leaving, that is going to remain to be seen. But this team was 4-1 before going against this Bengals squad that, for all intents and purposes, is kind of turning things around with Joe Flacco in. I mean, Joe Flacco's Joe Flacco, but 23 targets to Jamar Chase, an absurd amount to 10 targets to T. Higgins. That's 33 targets between two players, and targeting DK Metcalf 5 times. But meanwhile, you're going to have quite literally, can't make this up, 17 targets between 3 different tight ends in Pat Freiermuth, Jonnu Smith, and Darnell Washington. 17 targets between 3 different tight ends. That's an Arthur Smith signature right there. That's a sign right there. I mean, what are we doing? Yes, I get it that there's not that other wide receiver option, but it seems like we could be doing more getting Roman Wilson or somebody involved, unless we know we're trading for another receiver, because having 17 targets, not to one, not split between 2, but between 3 tight ends, I think that right there just shows like who the Steelers are. And we heard it on the broadcast in the game last night that this 3 tight end set is something that the Steelers do almost more than any other team in the NFL this year. So my takeaway here with the Steelers as a non-Steelers fan really is Aaron Rodgers is playing better than probably a lot of people were going to give him credit for coming into the season. These receivers outside of Metcalf they're just not it, right? Like they're wide receiver 3s, so it would be like Roman Wilson would be a great wide receiver 3 to a George Pickens and a solid wide receiver 2. Now, Jalen Warren had a great game, had a touchdown called back. Kenneth Gainwell was okay. So this Steelers team was just overall like, it was a good game, but you come up short when you're playing a Bengals team. Let's switch to the Bengals side here. When you've got Joe Flacco throwing nearly 50 balls, throwing it nearly 50 times for almost 350 yards. I mean, watching this Bengals team, what's your take going forward about the Bengals, realistically?
Yeah, I mean, it was a much needed win for them. I'm going to chalk it up to there's a few factors that, I think Flacco is the right option right now. However, he is playing the Steelers. He knows the Steelers defense, okay? I still, it could just be that AFC North, rivalry. He knows what it's about. He kind of knows our flaws because I mean he's played us, his whole career basically. And it sucks because the Steelers defense is, bottom 5 in total yards allowed. They allow the second most passing yards in the league. I mean, you sum that up, Flacco is going to tear you apart because if you have Chase and Higgins, because they finally getting double-digit targets, what seems like forever. I think this is a much needed. They got the run game going with Chase Brown. Even though, I mean, you take away his 2 big runs, I mean, he was still almost averaging like 7 or 8 yards a carry. I mean, he ended up averaging over 10, but because he went 11 for 108. And I think again, they get a much needed win right now. The Steelers, pretty much the Browns and the Ravens are kind of bottom tier right now. If they have to stay in contention, they're going to need to get a win next week. However, you look at next week, Bengals play the winless Jets. Steelers play the Packers on Sunday night. So the Bengals, tried and true, could very well be on top of the division by next week or within 2 weeks. So I think this is a much needed win. The defense still has issues. It is the defense. I mean, we might see what happened last year. Joe Burrow going off, every single game, but the defense fails them. And you look at Joe Flacco; he balled out in the second half of the game last week, and then the whole game last night. They're really finding their rhythm, and if they can get that run game going and target Chase and Higgins at least 10 times each, because you need those guys to really help that offense. And Flacco's got one of the best spirals in the league. He's going to put the money on the dot.
Well, I think this win really helps. Unfortunately, it hurts the Steelers, obviously, but this win, ironically, is what the Ravens needed as well. Like, had the Steelers won this game, it's dang near the Steelers are winning the division. Unless some miracle happens.
They'll be up 3 games from the Bengals, and then 4 games from the Browns and Ravens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, I mean, the Steelers would have won this, pretty much had the division not completely unlocked. We're still very early into the season. But this game by the Bengals is what now has opened that door a little bit more for not only themselves, but the Ravens as well. And we're not mentioning the Browns because they're the Browns. But yeah, man, it was an incredible game. It was just one of those games where it's like, especially here on the East Coast, where it's like, dang, man, I'm so tired, but this is a good game, bro. Like, literally goes all the way down to them kicking a field goal. And let me ask you this. Did you like the call of a Aaron Rodgers Hail Mary, or would you rather have said, screw it, send Chris Boswell to kick a 70-yard kick? He's probably going to miss it. We're going to miss a Hail Mary. What would you rather have had happen? Give Boswell the 70-yard kick or let Aaron Rodgers throw up a Hail Mary? Because more than likely neither are going to work. But, it's just a stupid little small question. Which one would you rather have seen?
I love Boswell, all right? The Wizard of Boz. Dear to my heart, all right? He's made me a happy man throughout my whole life. But Aaron Rodgers on the Hail Mary, that man is almost as efficient as kicking a field goal with those last second Hail Marys. Yeah. So, and the ball got there. I mean, the ball got there all the way to the goal line, and so
Rosen said,
I think. Yeah, and so I would have, if it was like any other quarterback that we had, if it was a Mason Rudolph, or Kyle Allen, or not Kyle Allen, Skylar Thompson, then yeah, I would probably risk the field goal. Even though I think it would be a mid 70-yard field goal, which again, that's just wishful thinking. But yeah, I'm totally fine with. I'll take Aaron Rodgers giving me that Hail Mary 10 times out of 10.
Love it, man. Bengals get the win on Thursday night. It was an incredible game. But let's switch over here to a new segment called Doom and Gloom. So the point of this segment is we're going to be talking about 3 players. We'll just go back to back here, bar for bar, line for line, of 3 players that we are desperately, definitively, disgustingly disappointed in this fantasy football season. And you being the guest, Ben, let's just go ahead and have you kick things off here with your first player that you are just disgustingly disappointed in. And we might have the same. We haven't shared notes, by the way, guys. So we may have the same player, may not. But Ben, let's just go ahead and kick off this segment.
Well, I'm gonna stick to my original picks before the audio issues, and just the whole technical issues that we had trying to record this podcast. I made this list on Tuesday. I'm gonna stick with it.
Let's go.
So number 1 is Chase Brown. I know. You take you take last night's game as an outlier, okay? Because right now, again, we're taking last night's game out of it. Right now, he is the 30th running back in fantasy, averaging a little over 9 points per game in PPR leagues. It's supposed to be, the lead back, and his best finish was RB22. And it seemed like he's getting lower snap counts each and every week. He's got 3 games in the low 70s and then 3 in the low 50s of the snap count. You got Samaje P. Ryan taking more and more roles from him. That could be, change of pace back. Game script could really, screw him over. But the fact he was going, depending on 10 to 12 man leagues, I mean, he was going like early as the third. And then, but I've seen him I've seen him go in the second round. So you're going from second to fourth to if he was in the fifth, then you might consider that a steal. But he was ranked the RB10 heading into the season, 22nd overall of all fantasy players. And Burrow being hurt isn't a good sign. You have Jake Browning, and the offensive line is just terrible. All right, the offensive line, it sucks, and that could be a reason why. But after the year that he had last year, kind of a strong end, and with how Higgins, Chase, Burrow, and Brown, like that is a great lineup for success. But for whatever reason, it's just he's not being as efficient as he once was, and playing with 3 different quarterbacks definitely does not help. So he's my first doom and gloom. But then he ate my words last night. So
and maybe, like you said, maybe last night was an outlier.
Yeah.
We'll see going forward. My first one here is going to be Calvin Ridley, and currently he's the wide receiver 53 on the year. I had him as a top 30, and in some of my rankings, it kind of moved around, it shifted around, but I think the highest I ever had him preseason was wide receiver 25. I'm pretty sure that's the highest I ever had him. But either way, I think at highest I had him a top 25 wide receiver coming into the season. Yet this offense has been quite literally as awful as it gets. AWFUL. As awful as it gets. They just fired their head coach. Cam Ward has been behind a terrible O-line, and Ridley himself just hasn't made the most of any of the opportunities he has been given. Outside of the Week 5 wide receiver 14 finish against Arizona, he's looked bad every single game. Every game. And he's gotten 8 targets, he catches 4 of them. He's gotten 7 targets, he catches 3 of them. Now, I understand maybe you could say, well, it's coming from a rookie quarterback. Here's the thing. Cam Ward is an accurate quarterback, and I understand maybe possibly you could say he's got to adjust to the NFL game. It doesn't help when you have a head coach like Brian Callahan, who, before the season, I can't lie, this whole Titans, it was all they all bamboozled me. The entire Titans team, it was a fugazi. I got bamboozled, I'm not even going to lie. Some of my worst hindsight fantasy takes has been about this Titans team this year. Number one being I was excited about Brian Callahan and Cam Ward and that duo, because of what we saw just a couple of years ago with Brian Callahan and Joe Burrow with the Bengals. I mean, that connection was incredible. So I was excited that Cam Ward, that last year in Miami last season, had so many comparisons, arm strength-wise, accuracy-wise, composure in the pocket-wise, to Joe Burrow, that I thought, okay, what Brian Callahan tried to do with Will Levis last year was a joke because Will Levis is nowhere near Joe Burrow. But Cam Ward, he's not exactly Joe Burrow, but he's got a lot of the same tendencies. And I was so excited about what that could look like. And then what would that look like for the rest of the offense? Calvin Ridley, Tony Pollard, all these guys. And boy, oh boy, was I wrong. But obviously, I want to point out Calvin Ridley. I'm just disgustingly disappointed in Calvin Ridley. So that's my first one. Ben, who you got next?
Next, I'm going to stick in the Brown family, and I'm going to go with A.J. Brown. So I had high hopes for this Eagles offense heading into this year because I felt like the narrative, they wanted to switch the narrative instead of just like the tush push, and which I still think is a fair play. Don't get mad if you can't stop it.
Hey,
all right, that's part of the game.
Let's take a pause right there for a second. The tush push. You're a Steelers fan, state of champions, as they say about Pittsburgh, Steelers, and Philadelphia. But when it comes to the tush push, when you are seeing teams trying to ban that play, what's your take on the tush push as far as when do you think maybe we can look into banning it? Or do you just think like that play should never be banned, learn to stop it?
I'm under the assumption it's like if don't ban it if you can't beat it. I mean, like you can't be mad at someone for using the same play over and over and over again if it works. You just have to stop them. Like, you can't say that this is unfair. Like they're scoring too much. They're getting too many first downs with this play. We need to ban them. It's like, okay, then stop them. Like, these are some of the best players in the world. All right. Defensive players defensive players of the year, defensive rookies of the year, all these players that, like, yeah, it's tough. I mean, it is a tough play, but hey, if you would have came up with it first, then, and it would be working for you, you wouldn't be saying this.
Absolutely.
So as much as the over reliance, like, is it fun to watch? No, but who cares? It's like, I mean, punt it, seeing the long snapper hike the ball is not fun.
Right,
he's just hiking it. Like, what's the point? So, I'm under the assumption, look, you just got to beat it. You can't just ban a play because you can't stop it.
Yeah, and I think too, it's interesting that statistically, it actually is less dangerous to run the tush push than a normal running play. So that as well is just like, okay, so you're trying to ban a play that I understand is ugly. Like, it's not the prettiest play in the world. Now, I do think this, and even as an Eagles fan, I'll say this. I do think it's not every single time the media, because they hate Philly, they're going to say this. It is not every time. Is there a lot of times where the Eagles have gotten away with false starts, moving early, the linemen on that play? Yes, it has happened. We saw it last night. I believe it was the Steelers. Did they run their version?
Yeah, they did.
And they got caught.
And they got a false start on it.
Yeah. So they got caught for, and that's something that I will say. Okay, listen, have the refs be focusing in on that, right? Like, have the refs focus in on false start, and if the Eagles are doing it, call them out for it, but don't ban the play. I mean, that's just ridiculous. But anyway, so talking about AJ Brown.
Yes. So, switch back to the narrative. The narrative was, let's see if Jalen Hurts, and we talked about this in the offseason. There's a line right there that's just separating him from being a true elite quarterback to be up there with the Josh Allens, with the Patrick Mahomes, and Lamar Jackson. And you see Lamar Jackson's been doing it the last year and this year before he got hurt, is passing the ball a lot more, airing it out, show that you're more than just, hey, I hand it off to Saquon Barkley, I could do a tush push. And so heading into the season, similar to Chase Brown, he was the 10th wide receiver heading in to PPR, 21st overall. So he was just, one above Chase Brown, being taken, again, depending on your league size, from 3 to 6. Or now, if you got him in the 6th, that would be still a century. Probably not so much right now, but it's crazy. Right now, he's the 37th ranked wide receiver in PPR. 9 points per game, almost a 10, 9.7. He's only getting 7 targets, 4 catches, and averaging 64 yards. All in all, those aren't bad numbers. But for someone who's A.J. Brown, who just signed that big contract extension, who just is that number one guy who wants the ball, he's not one of those quiet wide receiver ones that, that will not like be like, hey, it's just bad day in the office this week. No, he will voice his opinion. And it's one of those where you want to keep your guy happy, because as much as I like Devontae Smith is a great wide receiver too. All right. He is a great one. He can step in. Like, I think T. Higgins can step in to be wide receiver 1. Devontae Smith is just right below him. I don't think he can be that number 1 receiver throughout, all the year. But to step up in certain games, he can. But A.J. Brown, like, you look at this, you just look at this offense. They're bottom 4 in pass yards per game. They're bottom 3 in total yards per game. All of that, whether it's running heavy, running more heavy, having more carries, and then it's just, I don't see why Brown isn't getting fed. I don't know if it's just the higher ups are kind of being, I don't know if it's pettiness, they're kind of like tired of him, but I don't think it is. I don't think there's a collusion to not give him targets. And like him going to the media saying there wasn't a secret meeting with him and Barkley and them. It's like, I don't know what's going on there. So is it like, I don't want to, obviously, more as an Eagles fan, but trade possible? I mean, how long can you go with not getting your top guy what he wants and what he needs and what he's earned? All right, I mean, you look at the years that he's had. He is that number one guy. He is that wide receiver one. But I mean, the fact, and he only has one touchdown so far this year.
It's
Like this needs to be fixed quick, because other than that, I mean, he's been very disappointing just from I mean, again, go back to the fantasy perspective. I mean, I've traded him in 2 of my leagues. I've cut bait with him. I'm not dealing with that anymore, because it's just disappointing. Like, for all these other receivers I'd rather take a boom or a bust receiver 2, receiver 3 than what AJ Brown has right now. AJ Brown, just very disappointing. Just overall, because. And maybe I put too much stock into the Eagles offense. It's just this offense hasn't looked all that impressive, all that good. It's like a step back, what feels like from last year and even the year before that. So, and a lot of that is probably because of Barkley. Barkley has not even reached his peak of last year. Same thing with Derrick Henry. It's like you got 2 great running back years, fantastic, phenomenal, will go down in the history books as one of the best, probably, like, running back, 1-2 punch in the league. But now I don't know if it's just because of worn legs, trying to keep him healthy. They're like, hey, we gave him a lot of carries, but I think that was the reason why Brown was successful last year in that way. So, yeah, I think A.J. Brown right now is just kind of very, very disappointing.
my next doom and gloom guy is going to be Keon Coleman. Outside of week 1, which is a game that, after that, I completely changed my tune and was all in. After one performance, is that bad to do? Yes. But it was a performance where, in all the biggest moments, in the times that they needed someone most, they were calling his name. Yes, he's been bad since, and I mean bad. Currently, he's the wide receiver 40, and that offense is just meh. So Keon Coleman is a guy that I am desperately hoping can turn it around, but kind of similar to you, in almost every league, I'm just like, yeah, I'd rather have anybody else. The issue is with, unlike A.J. Brown, Keon Coleman's name doesn't really hold much weight. Like, the only way you can even trade him is to that Josh Allen owner and try to say, like, hey, yeah, he's Josh Allen's guy, maybe, hopefully. They spent a lot of, draft capital on him. So Keon Coleman's been very disappointing. I had, like, somewhat high hopes for him coming into the season, but after week 1, I had all my hopes were up in the air. And as much as I tell people not to do that, I did it. So that was my fault. But yeah, man, Keon Coleman, I'm just out on. But let's round the segment here. Ben, who's your last guy that you've just been disgustingly disappointed in?
I think this might be a common one. Son of the great Indianapolis Colts receiver, Marvin Harrison. Now, this one is the weirdest case out of the 3 that I picked, because I think it's a combination of many factors. I mean, he's getting brutal drops. He's getting into his head now. I don't feel like he's getting enough volume. I mean, he's only getting 4.4 catches a game and then averaging about 7.5 targets with 58 yards per game, and that comes out to 11.3 PPR points. I love my stats, but he was coming into this year as the 44th overall player, wide receiver 19, so top 20. I had him at 10. All right, personally speaking, I expected Harrison to take that big leap forward, because I felt like if there's one thing the Cardinals have, it's Harrison. I feel like they want to do anything they can to make him happy, just like A.J. Brown. But I think it's, I mean, he's getting drafted from rounds 3 and 5. I drafted him in a couple of leagues in round 3, like upper 3. So pretty much at the end of 2. I was just that high on him. I just felt this offense was going to take a little step forward. But, I think part of it sums it up with Kyler Murray playing, not his best. He's QB 24 of the year, only 16 fantasy points per game. And his best finish was QB 16. And you look at last week, Jacoby looked pretty freaking good. Jacoby Brissett looked really good. So it's like, and then they had to confirm, the coach came out and said, after Kyler's still the starter after his injury. That's not a good sign if your quarterback is saying he's still going to be the starter whenever he comes back from injury, from a guy that they've extended, from the guy that they're kind of building around and hoping to be that franchise quarterback. Now you have your coach just making sure, he is going to start. And I feel like that leash is going to be shorter and shorter. So I would like to see Jacoby maybe one more game. I'm not sure. I haven't checked the injury report. I don't know if Kyler's playing this week. But, Harrison being out with a concussion, he was limited yesterday. So maybe I would like to see a full game of Jacoby and Harrison and see if that does, because you look at the game he had last week. He had that bounce back game. He looked really good, and maybe that was going to be the start of something. So, but I just think right now the injury comes at a bad time. Murray's not playing his best. So, best case scenario, if you're a Marvin Harrison owner, I'm holding him right now. But I just feel like if he has another bad game with Murray at the helm, then you might have to cut bait with him. I feel like Jacoby. I'd love to see a Jacoby Marvin full game. And see what that combo works. Because if that combo works, almost like a Flacco situation, then this guy knows how to target his top dude. Like, because he should be averaging over 10 targets a game. I think your number one receiver needs to be averaging 10 targets a game. I mean, that's just, unless you have just a stud wide receiver two, or just two solid, wide receiver twos. But yeah, so Marvin Harrison, very disappointing so far.
I agree, man. I love that take. My last one here, I'm going to switch to a running back. So I'm going to go RJ Harvey. I understand that he's a rookie, and yes, he should be given some grace, and I will, but later, because for now, all the hype was there for him to be the guy in this offense straight away, but no. He's the RB37 currently and just can't seem to get it together. He's efficient. I'll give him that at 4.6 yards per carry. Man, RJ Harvey, bro. Like, before we switch to the news, which I don't have too much news, but there's one piece that I know we're gonna discuss heavily. But with RJ Harvey, it's massively disappointing. J.K. Dobbins was kind of getting a lot of the work, but now it kind of seems like it's just a split backfield back there. And so with RJ Harvey, it's disappointing. And it's also disappointing in like some of my personal, more important dynasty leagues. We're in a WWE style one, Smackmouth league, me, you, Josh Benson, some others. And bro, I had him as my RB2 in that league. Like, I've had to make so many trades because my RBs are awful. But oh my gosh, bro, RJ Harvey has been
Harvey
has been absolutely disappointing, to say the least. But who has not been disappointing? Let's transfer over here to some news. Bill Kroski-Mera, who Commanders offensive coordinator Cliff Kingsbury says that he remains confident. Bill Kroski-Mera, despite the fumbling issues, will still be the starter going forward. I mean, what do you have to say about this Bill Kroski-Mera over with the Commanders?
Hey, I love Bill. I thought it was only I thought it was a matter of time before he took over that backfield, and unfortunately it took some injuries for that to happen. Sorry, Eckler, you need to retire, buddy. But I think Bill's in a great situation. I think the Commanders' offense is just kind of in a lull right now. They looked great last week. Jane Daniels was finally on. I know Scary Terry's been out. I would like to see more from Jalen Lane. But in terms of the running game, I mean, he is a rookie. All right, I feel like these issues are, he's going to improve upon it. And the fact he's just in what could be a very potential high scoring, high potent, high attack offense. I don't think there's anything to worry about Bill right now, unless he pulls a Ramondre Stevenson and starts fumbling every single game. And even then, you look at Ramondre Stevenson. I know this is kind of going off topic, but you would expect Henderson to take over with the amount of carries and fumbles that Ramondre has. But back to Bill, yeah, I mean there's no competition. I know you got Chris Rodriguez there and McNichols is there, but those are kind of the change of pace backs. Those are just in case of emergency break glass for like a game. But I think Bill has that workhorse aspect to him, so I'm not putting too much stock into the into like is he really going to be the starter? Is he really going to stay there? It's like yes, he's a rookie. They drafted him. They're playing him for a reason. Fumbling just comes with the game. Until I got to see more consistent fumbles and consistent just bad moves on his part, which I haven't seen so far.
Yeah. Well, speaking of the news here, still CeeDee Lamb, he's back. Looks like he will play this week with no limitations. Thank God. I need him.
Same.
But here are some trade rumors I want to get into, and one of these came out of nowhere. I don't understand where this is coming from. The Seahawks could have interest in Dolphins running back Devon Achane, according to Tony Pauline. The full quote is, Seattle could make a move for the ball carrier if Miami continues to lose games and chooses to sell off pieces. Achane would bring the speed and home run hitting ability not presently found at running back for the Seahawks, end quote. And before I get to the next trade rumors, which I want to discuss with you, what do you have to say about the possibility that Miami trades Devon Achane? Do you think that would honestly happen? And from 0 to 100%, what's the likelihood that happens? Obviously, 100% meaning he's gone in 5 minutes. 0% meaning Tony Pauline, shut up.
Man, I mean, it's tough. I mean, if I were the Dolphins right now, you are in a very bad spot. Mike is on the hot seat. He has to be. The team's just looking bad, worse, and each and every week. So I think you need to put some stock into this because on one hand, you look at the Seahawks. Do they really need another running back? Kenneth Walker's there and Sharby's there. So those are kind of the offsetting. Walker's the bell horse. Up the middle, Sharpie's going to be the pass catcher back. But you have Achane there who can do both. So I don't know if it will be one of those where Charbonnet gets packaged up because I can't imagine having 3 of those running backs. I mean, it's great from a pure football perspective, and I don't know what type of I think a player was mentioned in that potential trade rumor. I think other than Achane, it was like a defensive player. I think that the Seahawks have. So they could do something like that. I'd put stock in it because, again, Achane, I mean, they have Jalen Wright, who's been, a healthy scratch, and they got Ollie Gordon, so they might want to test out because Achane is probably going to command a big contract because he's been pretty damn good for them. So if they want to try to save money, get something in return, maybe even get Walker or Charbonnet, even though I don't think those guys are going to be included in there. Have a 3-headed monster in Seattle. That's looking pretty scary. So if I was Seattle, I mean, I think you should put some stock into that.
Love it. Well, George Pickens, who is due for a new contract, said that he wouldn't mind staying in Dallas long term. He said, quote, I wouldn't mind. The guys in the locker room are super cool. The energy's great. But like I said, I always want to showcase my talents, end quote. So that last part there, I always want to showcase my talents. And, of course, that was thrown in there by him when asked, would he like to stay in Dallas long term? So here's my thing. Dallas has so much money in CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott. And when it comes to paying George Pickens, do you honestly think a guy like him who left the Steelers because he wasn't being used enough in his mind, do you think he's going to want to stay in Dallas who has CeeDee Lamb already? And it seems like George Pickens is somewhat of a diva. So, I mean, what's your take there of, do you think he stays in Dallas long term? Or do you think he goes elsewhere after this year and just gets the bag?
Man, it's tough. As someone who has 3 George Pickens jerseys and have defended him a lot during his Steelers tenure and was adamantly against the trade that landed him in Dallas. I honestly think, because that last bit that he said, I like to showcase my talent. I feel like he's saying the right things because he wants to probably give the Cowboys something to hold on to and maybe like give them money, because it's probably a smart move because he's going to go where I think the money's going to be. All right. I think he's still young enough to probably get one more contract for the money. And then after that, he's probably going to be like, all right, I kind of want to win now because I already got my money. So I think the best case would probably for him to stay in Dallas because you look at him, operating as the number one receiver. I mean, Dak's playing at a near MVP caliber. Pickens has just been phenomenal. This is what he's been wanting. But with CeeDee Lamb, coming back and CeeDee Lamb being the clear number one, Pickens will never usurp CeeDee Lamb as the number one guy. It would be smart for him to stay in Dallas as a number two. But if he wants that money, he's not going to get the money from being a number two. All right, he's going to get the money because some other team, regardless of I don't know who needs right now, but he's putting on a great showcase. But if I was a betting man, which I am, he's leaving in the offseason. I think he is. Now, to what team? I don't know. I don't have a list of potential suitors. I think any team would love to have him. But yeah, overall, I think it's clear that he wants that money, and he'll probably get the money and somewhere to win because the Cowboys were 2-3 right now.
Yeah, either 2-2-1 or 2-3-1, something like that. They got that stupid tie. Screw ties, man. Ties are stupid. Now stay with me here.
I'm staying.
What if a potential suitor was the Pittsburgh Steelers?
Man. See, I think now you're onto something right here because the Steelers are in desperate need of a wide receiver too. All right, so I think you bring in a guy like Pickens. I think he can add a lot, to us. I really think he can unlock what the Steelers have been missing. So yes, I think that's a great
guy
pick.
like George Pickens.
Yeah, I think we can get George Pickens to replace the void left by George Pickens. So I think it works perfectly, honestly.
Yeah, maybe. Speaking of wide receivers, and then we're going to move on to the draft here. Giants are, quote, big game hunting, end quote, at the deadline for a wide receiver. And the two biggest names, and I love this. Oh, my gosh, do I love this. Two biggest names are Jalen Waddle and Chris Olave. Now, you brought up Chris Olave possibly being on the move. And, yes, he needs to get out of New Orleans. I love Chris Olave. But could you imagine, just stay with me, if Jalen Waddle or Chris Olave was a wide receiver two to Malik Nabers. Now, obviously, if they get traded this year, they won't be because Malik Nabers won't be back till next year. But both Jalen Waddle and Chris Olave, this is contract years for them. Neither one of them should get paid more than Devonta Smith just got paid. He got a 3-year deal for $70 million. That, in this economy of the NFL, is an incredible deal. Could you imagine Jalen Waddle or Chris Olave going over there, getting their contract probably as a trade and sign type of thing, or trade and, hey, we're going to pay you at the end of the season type of thing, and they're there for 3 years, $70 million, and then going into next season, you've got Chris Olave on one side, Malik Nabers on the other side, Cam Scatterbo in the backfield, Jackson Dart, Theo Johnson. That Giants team, and especially the way they played against the Eagles. I mean, I remember saying after Monday night, if this is, or not Monday night, when was it? Was it Sunday night or last Thursday? No, it was last Thursday. I remember saying after that game, if this is how the Giants play the rest of this season, they're going to be a scrappy playoff team. They're going to be a team that sneaks into the playoffs, probably gets booted instantly. But if they can make a move before the trade deadline for a player like Jalen Waddle or Chris Olave, especially knowing going into next season, you're going to have them beside Malik Nabers, bro. And now, let me ask you, if you were the Giants, who would you rather have? Jalen Waddle or Chris Olave?
Ooh, man, that is tough. That is very, very tough. I mean, my mouth was foaming. I think of the possibilities of this. But man, I mean, that's tough because Waddle is going to be much more of a possession receiver than what Nabers, and Nabers is still a possession receiver, but I think Olave. If I had my choice, I go with Waddle. Strictly because he's a little bit younger. He doesn't have the concussions that Olave has, and it just feels like every time Olave gets hit, I'm scared for him because he's literally just one hit away from calling it a career because he was already thinking about it last year. So I think, but in terms of skill, I love Olave. I mean, if he can stay healthy, I don't know. There's a lot of ifs with this, but I think Waddle would be probably cheaper than Olave because I think the Saints would actually will probably ask for more. Just because he is a number one, he does get a fair share of his targets. He is he's a great receiver. But regardless of what they do, yeah, to your point, if they make the playoffs and they get one of these guys, And then they're gonna get booted in the first round. But yeah, next year with Neighbors and a Waddle and a Theo, Scatabo, and Jackson Dart. I mean, rise up, Giants fans, all right?
Yes.
Because that duo is great. And I think Malik Neighbors is, again, kind of like wanting this too, because I know he wants to be the number one, and no one's going to usurp him as the number one. I think he's gonna come back fine. I don't think the injury is going to be career ending, or anything like that. So yeah, if I had a gun to my head, give me Waddle. I think Waddle will be cheaper. I feel Waddle will fit the system a lot more. Be that safety net for Jackson compared to Olave, who can still be that veteran presence. But I'd rather, I guess, roll the dice on Waddle. Just him not being probably as efficient, especially lately. But yeah, so I go with Waddle.
I love it. I love it. I think it's really hard. I love what you said, though, about the Saints would probably ask for more. And I think in that situation, that's the only reason I would agree with you to go Waddle. I don't agree with everything. I think that Waddle has had the injuries that Chris Olave hasn't. So when we look at Olave, he's had the concussions, yes, but he really hasn't had any other body part actually injured. It's just like if he can not have concussions, he's very durable everywhere else. Whereas Jalen Waddle, maybe he hasn't had the concussions, but bro nearly has glass bones. But he would be significantly cheaper, and when healthy is just as, I mean, who do you want between, if they're both fully healthy, Jalen Waddle or Olave? I mean, they're so good. So I think that the cheaper aspect is exactly why I would agree Waddle. But we're going to move here to the last segment. We're going to skip the prediction zone due to time constraints with technical difficulties. Shout out to that. Gotta love technical difficulties, man. Gotta love it. We're going to skip out prediction zone. We'll come to it next week. We're doing a top 5 shows draft. So this draft is top 5 shows. So not only our favorite 5 shows, but possibly what we believe are the top 5 shows. So I'm going to let Ben go first. This is, of course, a snake draft. So, Ben, you are the guest. I'm going to let you get the first pick, and then I'll pick twice, and then you'll pick twice, all the way until we have our top 5. And then whatever didn't make the list, we'll shout out the honorable mentions. And, of course, this being a snake draft, we cannot share the same pick. So, Ben, hit us with that first show that you believe deserves the 101 spot.
What a stacked class that this draft has. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there are anything from dramas to comedies to in between to romance to love to reality TV. Yes, I'm bringing up reality TV. Hint, hint. There's so many options. You really can't go wrong. But I think with the first overall pick in the 2025 Daily Dynasty TV show draft, the Benjamin team will select. Oh, I'm panicking here. I actually don't know. I'm gonna go with. I know. I have a list. And I'm like, ugh. No. Just because I feel like I need to. Number 1, give me The Office.
I knew it. I knew you were gonna go The Office. I knew you were gonna go. Now, specifically, let me make sure I know. Top 5 seasons.
Yes. Yes. I'm only including seasons 1 through 5. All right. After that, you do that. If we're including the last few, then I'm not taking that number 1. But for the caveat, seasons 1 through 5.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I knew it, bro. I freaking knew it. I knew it. All right, so Ben, he's got The Office 101. Now, I had The Office in my top 3, and so I'm glad that here I am sitting with my 101. And with my 101, it might be a little bit crazy, but I got back-to-back picks. So simply because I have back-to-back picks, I'm gonna throw this show the respect it deserves. And I know I have told you to watch this show, and I don't know if you can even get past episode 1. It's a little bit slower to start. But with my 101, I'm going Vikings. Listen, Vikings is a great show, and it gets better legitimately every season. Now, I'm not talking about Vikings Valhalla on Netflix, which is a good show. It's set 300 years after the events of Vikings. It's a good show. It is what it is, but it ain't even on my list here. The original Vikings. An incredible show. And a show that, man, at the ending, you're just like, oh, but I don't want it to end. And it is the most in-depth character building, each character in-depth building. Multiple storylines happening the further you get into it. And man, it's such a great show. I love Vikings. And not only that, I mean, if this was a draft of what I wish I could watch for the first time all over again show, I would include that as well. I mean, if I could get the feelings I got watching Vikings all over again for the first time, I would. So Vikings, I'm going with my first pick. With my second pick here, I'm gonna play the field because I don't know if you're gonna throw. I've got two shows here, and one of them I feel like you could pick, and the other one I don't know. So I'm gonna punt it and hope it comes back to me. With my second pick, I'm going Lost. I love Lost.
God.
Yeah.
God.
So my second pick, I'm going Lost. What an incredible show. What an incredible show.
Nominal.
All 6 seasons. Ends a little bit odd, but all 6 seasons, bro. It's such a great, and every time you're getting near the end of a season, you're like, right, so where are we going? Oh my gosh. And then like it takes you in a way you didn't think we could even go. And yeah, I Lost, my second pick. I love it. All right, Ben, round us out here with your next 2 picks.
Yeah, I was torn between The Office and Lost being my number 1 pick, and
Listen, let me just so you understand, Vikings, The Office, Lost. So I was gonna get one of those right there.
Yeah, you were getting one.
Anyway. Yeah.
Okay, you know what? I lost out on Lost. So I'm gonna go with. I'm feeling a little creative here. I'm feeling a little like this is underrated. You know, this is gonna be a pick. I think that I could probably get it at the later stages. Can probably get it, but this is how important it is to me. I'm gonna show this player right here. This show is gonna prove that I have the best team right here. I can end the draft after this pick. Okay.
Interesting. I mean, this is you're really talking this one up.
You ready? Here we go. Planet Earth. Okay.
Wow.
Planet Earth. Lock it in, because if you want pristine, gorgeous, beautiful looks of just
like, are we talking like Planet Earth as in like what I think you're talking? Like, are we talking like just looking at animals and the planet?
Yeah. And I'm also gonna lump in. I'm also lump in the ocean. Our ocean thing to it.
Wow.
Because look, Planet Earth, multiple, and this is a TV show. All right, it is. All right, I had to double check because I thought there were movies at first.
Wow.
But yes, dude, nature is beautiful. It's brutal, but its narration is perfect. It is one of the best. I can put it on any day of the week and not be bored out of my mind. So Planet Earth, controversial pick, is it? Who knows? But for me, that's the league winner. That's the league winner. That's taking me to the championship.
Yeah, listen, they thought picking Jalen Hurts in the second round would be controversial when you just paid Carson Wentz. And that, to me, Planet Earth is your Jalen Hurts. I mean, it's definitely controversial, don't get me wrong. But I don't want to disrespect it because you did say Earth is beautiful, and, it is what it is. It's super high. I mean, this is Daniel Jones' draft. I mean, you're high up there. You're taking a risk, but let's see how you round it out.
I stand by the pick. Okay. This is the pick that is to be made, okay? Now we're going to go back into the well-known shows now.
Okay,
so a lot of options here. I mean, you got, again, a lot of options.
Don't say all the options, but let's just, yeah.
Yeah, boom, boom, boom. So I'm going to go with Breaking Bad.
No!
Breaking Bad.
I could play the field.
Yeah, that was you weren't getting Breaking Bad, all right? I'll take Breaking Bad. Hey, we could do a trade. I'll give you Breaking Bad for Lost.
Absolutely not.
But no, Breaking Bad, phenomenal show.
Man.
I mean, I just recently got into it, and
wow.
Yeah, I was late to the party on this one. And I've heard better. Well, probably shouldn't say that. But yeah, Breaking Bad is just Bryan Cranston just transformed himself into the most despicable person ever. Such a great just telling of the drug world, and it's just enticing. You're on the edge of your seat every single episode, and I mean, it's just, again, superbly acted, well written. It's won so many Emmys for a reason. All right, and seeing that change of Bryan Cranston going from the family man to now what people probably know him more for now. It's great. I think Breaking Bad, I think that brought me back in the swing of things if you didn't like the Planet Earth pick. So we're good.
It definitely brought you back. I mean, what a pick. What a pick. I mean, that was an elephant dart to the face right there. All right. Well, with my third pick, I get 2 back-to-back ones here. I'm having to really pivot here off my list. I mean, my top 4 were Vikings, The Office, Lost, and Breaking Bad in that order. Now, The Office and Vikings would have been tough to choose from, but you kind of took that. Breaking Bad, what a great show. And there's so much stuff after that, too. You got the movie, and then you've got Better Call Saul, and, it's so much. But anyway, okay. So with my next pick here, I'm going to add another classic. I'm going to go Smallville. Smallville, a great show.
Oh,
If you haven't seen
okay.
it, definitely do. I love Smallville. I think that is it definitely got the cringy 90s moments? Of course. But we love it anyway. So Smallville, I'm going to throw it in there. I'm really stressing right now because I'm really stressing. But you know what? I'm going to put another show here, but this is an animated show. It's an animated show, and it was short. Only had 3 seasons. But I'm going Avatar: The Last Airbender. Avatar: The Last Airbender. If you've never seen the entire show, there's so much. There's so much there. I mean, yes, you might think it's a kid show, but listen, it kind of isn't. Like it is presented in the way of a kid show, but there are so many quotes in that show that are like really quotes for life that are like to adults. But Avatar: The Last Bender, such a great show. But yeah, I'm going to round out my next 2 picks there. I've got Vikings, Lost, Smallville, Avatar: The Last Airbender. You've got The Office, Planet Earth / Ocean. Why not? I'll throw that one in there with you.
Well, okay, if I'm pairing that, then
Bad.
I definitely will.
So here we go. You got your last 2 picks here, Ben. How are you going to round out this draft?
I'm in the same boat as you. This like the top 3 are probably easy picks. We knew what to expect. So part of me is like, should I put in something that's iconic? Should I put in something to represent a different genre? Or what type should I do? So
I think you should do what's coming from your heart.
that being said, I'm gonna do Jimmy Neutron. No. But so I'm also gonna do a caveat on this. I'm gonna do True Detective. True Detective, specifically season 1. Matthew McConaughey, Woody Harrelson. If you want gripping drama, I mean, there is a scene in that show that helped kickstart the one-track shot that we're starting to see a lot more in shows and in movies. It just got the hype back into those shots. Highly recommend True Detective season 1, one of the best seasons you'll ever. And you can watch the other True Detective seasons. It's kind of like, a different story each season, so it's different actors. But nothing tops the first season. First season phenomenal. All right, my last pick. Huh?
What do we got here for the last one?
Ooh, God.
We'll be able to mention the honorable mentions, of course, that didn't make the cut. But this is your last. This is your last pick. So you got a lot of guys looking at you right now with eyes of hope, and you're only picking one.
It's tough. I'm torn between 2 right here. I'm gonna go with the animated Justice League show.
Love that.
Early 2000s. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. That one, I was either gonna say that or the I'm probably giving you a hint here, but either that or the Batman animated series.
Yeah. Also incredible.
Yeah, but I was like, you know what? Justice League had much more of a darker tone in some episodes, which I like. But I mean, iconic, classic childhood right there. I still watch it, to this day. I just put it on repeat. Good watches, good story. Like that's what DC Justice League should be.
I love it. For my last pick here, and then we'll just get straight into the honorable mentions. My last pick, it's pretty easy for me, is SpongeBob. I think listen, SpongeBob SquarePants, brother. I mean, I think they're still making episodes. I think they're still making episodes right now. I can't confirm that, but I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, the point is, how many things do we quote in our own lives from SpongeBob? You know what I mean?
That's true.
How much has that show shaped us into who we are today?
Yeah.
So I got to give it to SpongeBob. I really think I won this. I can't lie to you. We're going to go over the list here. I've got Vikings, Lost, Smallville, Avatar: The Last Airbender, and SpongeBob. Now, you have some top heavy hitters here with The Office, Planet Earth, Breaking Bad, and True Detective Season 1, and then you ended with animated Justice League show. I love that one. I'm going to say the rest of my honorable mentions, and I'm going to let you close things out with yours. I also had The Last Kingdom, which is another Vikings show on Netflix. It is so these Vikings shows. So Vikings and Vikings Valhalla are in the same lineage of the legends. Now, The Last Kingdom are those same characters, but in Vikings history, I love Nordic history. I went to Norway a few years ago. I just love the Viking era. Very short, but a lot packed there. There's a lot of disputes between what's historical and what's just legend, and so both of these shows take some of the same characters, but it's in the other tellings of those characters, if you see what I'm saying. So The Last Kingdom might have some of the same named characters as some of the characters in Vikings, but it's because it's from the other side of history, maybe how it was presented in other ways. So The Last Kingdom, The League, the fantasy football show The League, love that one, had that one on there. Family Guy, Danny Phantom, Sweet Life of Zach and Cody, and Everybody Hates Chris. So those were all my honorable mentions. Ben, what you got?
Yeah, so I think those are good honorable mentions right there. A couple of mine would be Game of Thrones. I think the last season just really tanked it for me. I couldn't put it up there just because of the last season. Also, I had Parks and Rec, but if I wasn't going to take The Office, I was going to take Parks and Rec. I'm currently watching The Wire on HBO. The Wire I'm only on season 1, but I heard it's got one of the highest IMDb ratings. I got Vinland Saga, great anime, fantastic on Netflix. I mean, talk about Viking-ish stuff, but very highly recommend. So freaking good. Full Metal Alchemist, Brotherhood, Attack on Titan. I have Modern Family, Gravity Falls, and Ted Lasso would round up. And one more, Samurai Jack. Jack. Love Samurai Jack.
Love it. Love Ted Lasso there at the end there as well to round things out.
Yeah, it's tough. You know, I think you can't have a possible winner in this drafts, except if your name is Ben. Then you know, I think you can't go wrong. But I mean, hey, let's put it to a vote. Ask the viewers, all right? Because I know they're going to side with me. This is easy.
All right, guys, listen, if you're listening now, my 5 were Vikings, Lost, Smallville, Avatar, The Last Airbender, and SpongeBob. Ben's was The Office, Planet Earth, Breaking Bad, True Detective Season 1 specifically, and the animated Justice League show. You can leave a 5-star written review. Let us know which one won the draft. But, Ben, I couldn't thank you for coming on, man. This is incredible. Hopefully turning into a weekly event here with Ben on the show. You know, he was a Daily Dynasty Show original. When we started Daily Dynasty Show back in 2022, he was there. Had to take a little bit of a hiatus with school. He's helped in the background, you know, with some stats and stuff on Twitter. But hopefully going forward, Ben can be a weekly member, man. I'm so thankful that you were here today. What do you want to leave the listeners and the viewers with here today?
Yeah, so just thank you for having me. I know I said it earlier at the start of this. Been a long time coming. Glad we finally got it ready. Glad we got past the technical difficulties, but we got the camera working now. We got the mic now. You know, this is my first time ever being on a podcast, and I really enjoyed it. I hope the viewers enjoyed it as well. And I would love to make this a weekly, every other week, or just whatever works. And hopefully the viewers like it. But yeah, I hope everyone had a great time. You know, there's plenty more. I mean, hey, the season's just beginning. You know, I mean, we're still early on in the season. I still gotta keep looking at this camera right here. You know, I get flustered a lot. All right, so if you're watching the video version of this, you know, my eyes are all over the place, but yeah, no, just want to say thanks, man, for having me on. And again, Daily Dynasty, you know, I'm glad we're finally able to do this. So again, thank you for the opportunity to come on here, talk. Unfortunately, my Steelers lost. You know, go Steelers though. We're still 4-2, top of the division. Can't be mad. I mean, I can be mad, and I am mad, but that's besides the point. But I'm rambling on right now. So yeah. Again, thank you so much. Love you, buddy, and hopefully we'll do this more.
Absolutely. Well, you guys can follow Daily Dynasty Show on TikTok and on Twitter and on YouTube. And if you're listening on the podcast, on wherever you're listening to podcasts, if you're listening to the audio version, make sure you leave a 5-star written review. It's a free way to support the show. It gets the show out there to other people who listen like you do. And couldn't thank you guys enough for listening. And until the next episode, see ya.